Okay, so as you can see in the background here, there's Aljamain Sterling right here. This is his YouTube channel. He has a video that he's made in response to Michael Chandler, the good old UFC PR boy. Now, Aljamain did respond, and I'm going to be I'm not going to go so into detail like in fighter pay and rant and rave about it. I have a lot of different thoughts about that type of stuff. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pausing and playing and reacting to what Aljo's saying as I listen to it. Probably not going to go through the whole video, just some of the main comments. But I know a lot of people in the MMA community don't do like these types of videos where they pause, play, and react to this type of stuff. So I'm going to be the guy who's, going to do that type of stuff. So hope you enjoy. Like the video if you like it, and subscribe for more content similar to this. But yeah, let's get into the video.
What he was saying, but him saying like Dana White had 10,000 sleepless nights. Michael Chandler, you've been competing since you were coming out of the womb, pretty much.
Let me just say this about this, okay? The comment about Michael Chandler, if I remember correctly, he was saying something like Dana White deserves to get paid because he had a lot of sleepless nights. He built the business. I'm just going to comment on this really quickly. I'm pretty pro business, entrepreneurship, people reaping the rewards of what they've grown. So my position on this is Dana White, the Fertitas, whoever was there since day one, part of the startups in a sense. I mean, I know the sport was around and stuff, but I'm saying the one when they bought it, grew it from pretty much nothing in the brink of bankruptcy to where it is now, they absolutely do deserve to get paid. And the way I look at it is that if you're someone who founds a company, you build it from scratch, your capital, your risk in the beginning, you grow it, you're employing people now, it's a successful business. I am somebody who believes that you deserve to be paid more than the employees of the business. I do believe that. I don't want to get too into detail because I know people have different opinions, and I'm not saying I'm not for workers' rights, and I do believe workers deserve to be paid fairly as well. I'm just saying I believe that the CEOs and stuff do deserve to get paid more in that sense. Now, obviously, the UFC situation is different because these are not employees. The fighters are not technically employees, right? They're technically independent contractors, and they bring, the way they get paid is different than what an employee does. It's a very different type of thing. So I'm not saying that Aljamain doesn't deserve to get paid, and I'm not trying to say I support Michael's argument fully. I'm just saying in general, I support, CEOs, executives, founders, deservingly getting paid a lot.
What about all your sleepless nights of training, cutting weight?
And this is true. Fighters go through this as well. They grind like crazy, like a motherfucker.
What about all the other fighters training, cutting weight? Like, you can't say...
By the way, what is this music in the back, Aljo? What are you doing with this music, man? Come on.
I have a college degree. I would have been making more money doing that in the early beginnings of my career if I just stuck to that. And I would have been making...
This is true. If you're early on fighting in the UFC... I probably make more money than you, and a lot of people probably make more money than you. Should it be that way? Again, we're getting into a very complicated discussion. I think that all fighters deserve a pay raise, and there's a lot of complicated factors. And I'm also someone who believes that a lot of fans right now who are saying that they want fighters to get pay raises are going to hate it once other promoters start sucking up the talent and we don't get to see the fights that we always want to see. Right now, the product is a 10 out of 10. I don't care what anybody says. The UFC, to me, their product is a 10 out of 10 in almost every single category, or a 9.5 out of 10. I would have to get into a long-winded rant about that as well, how quality the product is. I think most people understand that. But I think it's even better than what people think. I think the UFC product is like beyond people's appreciation of it. I think it's even beyond that. I don't know how I have a tough time putting my words together as to how good I think it is, but it is true. Like even though I think that fighters deserve to get paid more, I know a lot of people are going to be upset once the pay-per-views start getting watered down, the fights aren't as good, we don't get to see the best fighting the best anymore. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, I kind of miss the old days now. That's going to happen.
Now, minus pay for coaches, I pay 5% to rent.
I always talk about this. A lot of people talk about fighter pay. Only a few talk about the expenses after that. So many expenses. That 8K, let's say he wins, so 16K minus taxes.
5% to Matt. And I'm talking back then. This is obviously
percentages.
A different tax bracket. Obviously, I'm making way more money now. But now I'm in a different tax bracket.
Good for him. And Alger should be getting paid more.
$1,000 for the year, plus benefits, plus a retirement.
Wait, hold on.
Now, 56K starting in Long Island as a physical education teacher.
Do physical education teachers in America really get benefits and stuff in retirement? I thought they got paid pretty shitty.
In Long Island, $56,000. Fighters just wake up and just go to sleep. We train, go to sleep. That's kind of like. So, do you not?
When people say fighters just wake up, go to sleep, wake up, train, eat, maybe have a third training session, go to sleep. That is such a stupid way of looking at it. The training that they do the 1 or 2 times, that's worth, the 8 to 10 hours a day or more of what you're working in your regular job, because they're training at an extremely high level to perform in front of people and bring revenue in. It's totally different than what, you're doing at your 8-hour a day office job. That's like saying, what does a rapper do? He wakes up, chills, not a rapper, just any artist in general. They wake up, they kind of chill, spend time. They go perform at that, they're on tour. They go perform. They make, 100K for the site fee or whatever they make. I don't know how much artists make. Just give an example. Then they party a bit, go to sleep, and repeat. Wow, what an easy life. Yeah, in some ways that can be seen as a quote unquote easier life. However, they're getting paid based off of revenue and entertainment and stuff they're bringing in, right? They're bringing in a lot of people. They're selling out a stadium. They get a share of that. They're selling, the stadium's selling stuff to the people, like drinks and merchandise, whatever. And some of them might get a share of that. So while it might seem easy, they're getting a share of what they're bringing in. Fighters should be getting larger shares of what they're bringing in as well.
Because you're sitting at the cream of the crop. Like right now, I could say I'm.
One of the hardest things to do that will always make it tough to get people paid more until other promoters become more successful and just put pressure on the UFC to do it, or some other sort of methods, like some other sort of interventions. God, sorry about that. When you start out, you're making nothing. You're making absolutely nothing. You're making shit. Okay, you're probably living in your car, maybe a hotel, maybe you're sleeping inside the gym, all right? Or you're sleeping with like 5 or 6 roommates. You're making 8 and 8, 10 and 10, 12 and 12. After all expenses, you're maybe walking away with like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, right? You're making literally nothing. Okay, most people walking down the street are making more than you. And then, you're putting your body through it, everything, all the stress, all the mentally, physically, and now you finally make it to the point where you're making a little bit more money. Are you really going to now be the person who's going to step out and be like, hey, now I think everybody else should kind of get paid more, right? And risk getting into tension with the boss when you finally just made it, right? So that's number one, right? Do you really want to get into tension with your boss and the higher ups once you've actually finally just made it and have your career potentially sidelined? And the second thing is, remember, a lot of people, once they get to the top, they believe that the next generation should be doing the same thing, right? Like you'll notice a lot of people who are once already rich, and then you'll notice that people on the bottom are saying like, hey, maybe we should do this for the minimum wage, or maybe we should do this for workers' rights, or maybe we should do this with taxes. Whatever it is, I'm not saying whatever you believe. I'm just saying in general. You'll notice sometimes people who are already made it are like, hey, I had to grind to get up here. You all just need to work harder, and then maybe we'll get to where I'm at. Because once you're already there at the top, why are you going to, you also are kind of like, hey, I had to sacrifice to get up here. Why should these people have an easier way to get up here potentially? You know what I mean? It's like once you're already at the top and you have to grind to do it, it's like, why are you going to help out the next generation? Because you're like, man, I had to do all that work and now they get to just do nothing and get it. Screw that. You know what I mean? And that doesn't apply in business. It applies like everywhere in life. Right? Like you immigrated to the country, but you had to go through a nightmarish process to get here. Whatever country, like Canada, America, Europe, for example, Australia, wherever you immigrate to. But now the government's saying, hey, how about we have this shift in the immigration rules and we do this and this to maybe make it a little bit easier. You might be kind of thinking like, man, I had to go through such a nightmare and headache to get to here. And now you're telling me that this next person just gets to come in like that. That's not fair. It's that type of mindset.
I'm good. 12 coming in, right? Pretty much sold out the entire arena. Himself, damn near, but himself. Tom Aspinall, Paddy Pimblett, Molly McCann.
I've already talked about this. Paddy, dude, love the UFC. I like Dana White. I love the promotion. They're beyond 10 out of 10. But what Paddy Pimblett got paid, that was a joke. Absolute joke.
But for the most part, the people who the person that most of the people came to see was Paddy freaking Pimblett.
True. Yep. And he absolutely deserved a bigger amount because he was bringing in a larger amount of revenue. It's not just that, we should make maybe base pay higher for people who are just coming in, or if you're ranked number 15 or number 10 or number 8, whatever. But if you're also a draw, usually they do cut you in. You do get paid more, right? Like Connor and Khabib and whoever else is, a big draw, right? Like Ronda. Izzy's starting to become a decent level draw. Whoever's a decent sized draw, right? Like you should be getting paid more because if there's more people coming to see you, they're paying more for the ticket price to come see you. So everybody's generating more. You deserve to get more because it's you who are bringing it in. And for Paddy Pimblett to get paid, I forgot what it was, just that garbage amount. I understand he's on that contract he got when he signed, so he can't really negotiate it. If I was him, I would be mad as hell. Paddy should already be getting in the six figures. Straight up. He should already be in the six figures beyond that.
Personally know everybody. But let's say the guy who comes I wish I had a roster in front of me. See, this is why I want to
Alja should have had this stuff ready beforehand, ready to go. That doesn't look that good, man. Still love Aljo. Kinda.
Sure I had this. I'm doing this off the dome, guys.
I get it, yo. When you're shooting videos and you can see he's not doing anything, sometimes you just forget. That happens to me all the time too.
Let me just think of another fighter. Let's say the guy who just fought, actually, just recently, CJ Vergara, just beat the Brazilian guy, close split decision win. That guy comes in, how many people is he selling tickets to? I mean, he had a decent crowd of like 10 people, I think, that were there for him, his family, versus a Paddy Pimblett who's coming out selling thousands of tickets kind of thing.
Very good point.
So when you start to weigh those
very good point. Yep.
Pros and cons, I get
totally.
it from a UFC standpoint, the marketing standpoint. You can't build a model, at least you get to a certain threshold. Now there should be a bottom line minimum of what everyone should get, which should be enough to sustain themselves from not having or needing to work another job. And this is where it kind of gets long-winded, and I don't want it to be like that. Help elevate the sport like no other. 100%. Recognize. Dana's always throwing out the numbers of how good and how high we are ranking as the top sport, top growing sport. I get where Chandler is coming from, but at the same time, it's kind of like, dude, you're discrediting how much time and effort you put into brand yourself. You can't say
true.
The fighters
very, very true
need to be doing all this. NHL guys don't do that because everything is copyrighted and owned by those big organizations, and where there's a
Also, excuse me, I'm just trying to go through it because I don't want to. I sound like I react to every single thing. I'm just reacting to whatever I find interesting.
Interests, a like-minded interest for their athletes. We don't have that.
At some point, when my channel is bigger, then I might be able to do like full video reactions and stuff.
Because that's something that you should do anyway if you want to just brand yourself outside of your. But the guys who are just coming in are getting paid. Full disclosure, my last fight, I made $400K. Yeah, it sounds like, oh, you made a shit ton of money. Yes and no. On two sides of the coin. And guys, I do know that you could do write-offs and everything because I know there's going to be some smart ass over there that says all these things, oh, get yourself a better CPA, blah, blah, blah. Dude, trust me. I'm doing okay. I don't go spending my money, and I live in Long Island, which is one of the most expensive places to live. And I'm doing...
So let me just say this, okay? I know that he made $400K for the fight, right? Let me just say this. So $400K, then he was saying all the expenses, manager, traveling, camp costs, whatever the percentages are for that. And then he was also talking about he had previous taxes owed, and then he had to help family out, renovations, whatever, okay? So let's just get something clear. First of all, when it comes to like the last year's taxes and the stuff helping his family, I'm not gonna talk that. I'm not gonna dock the UFC for that because that's not entirely up to them. But let me just say this, okay? If we calculate the 400K and what he has remaining after all the, cap costs, manager costs, this and that, and let's say he pockets, I don't know, 300 or something, whatever it comes out to be after taxes, or 250. I don't know what the tax rate is where he fought and what the exact percentage is, but let's just say it's like 250 or something. Let's just think about it. Again, I always say this example, okay? Aljamain Sterling is the number one 135-pound MMA fighter in the premier organization on earth, okay? Out of 7 billion or almost 8 billion people, he is number one. All right? Let's just get that clear. Now, obviously, people are going to say, oh, well, we don't really know that. There could be some guy in some random country in the world who just doesn't have the opportunity yet and didn't get to the UFC. And I understand that, okay? I understand there could be some random killer out there who doesn't have the opportunity yet. I'm just saying who is there in the UFC, who is under contract out of 8 billion potentials. And again, you slash that in half for 18 and up, whatever, okay, 4 billion, whatever it is. Aljamain is number one. If you're the number one ranked at something on earth, regardless of the field, basketball, hockey, soccer, football, engineer, project manager, commercial real estate agent, property manager, the number one on earth for some specific designation for that, plumber, architect, whatever field you're in, whatever business you started, you're the number one, or the number two, or number three, or number four, or number five, or number 50. You're getting paid a shit ton of money. Okay, and everything I just listed beforehand, if you're the number one or number within the number top 5, 10 on the world for that, you're getting paid more than Aljamain Sterling. Guaranteed. If you're the number one plumber on earth or in America, you are getting paid a lot more than Aljamain Sterling. A lot more. And you are not a professional athlete. When you're number one at something and you bring in stuff, you deserve to be paid for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the UFC, they don't have the pressure to do it because there's nobody else to contend with them. But I'm just talking about the principle behind it. Absolutely deserves more than that. Okay. Now, he's left with 110K because of other stuff. Again, which is, he had other stuff. But, I guarantee you look at those other people after taxes, after whatever other expenses they have, after they have to help their friends and family, after they have to spend some renovations on their house, after they have to buy a house, after they have to buy a car, probably have more than 110K left after that. Guaranteed. Aljamain, I think a lot of the stuff he said makes sense. I don't know where a lot of people fall in this whole fighter pay discussion. I know people have different opinions on it. I know a lot of people have a very blanket opinions. You have people who are like, yeah, screw the UFC. The fighters deserve this much and this much, and this and this and this, and everything like that. And you have the other. I've seen some other people on the other side who are like, what do the fighters really do? And you get paid 6 figures to fight 3 times a year, and this and that. Yeah, like while you're sitting in your basic ass corporate job, because you don't make 6 figures, you think these guys shouldn't, like, dude, you and these guys are not on the same level. So anybody who thinks that, like, come on, dude. I have a kind of a mixed opinion on different things. Like you see, I do love the UFC. I like Dana White. I believe that Dana White and the Fertittas and everybody deserve to make boatloads of money because I believe in CEOs and executives making boatloads of money. But I also believe, on the other hand, when you're a highly ranked fighter out of billions of people on earth, doing something at a high level, deserve to be paid a lot of money. A lot of money, right? Aljo should be in the 7-figure at least when you're a champion. Like, he should be there. So that's pretty much my thoughts on this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more content similar to this. Going to be trying to do more reactionary style content like this if there's enough content available. Sometimes there's just not enough content available to do stuff like this. But I'll catch you guys later. Peace.